to run their lives and to help their neighbors as they see fit. The great American tradition and formula is that government is a last resort, not a first resort to come in and tell us what to do and tell us who should run our businesses and get involved in our lives. We know that's not the right solution. So we know that government is a last resort, not as a first resort, and the regulators have to realize they work for us. We don't work for them. And that's the winning formula. And that was the formula that Ronald Reagan, once a Democrat, then a Republican, he was bipartisan. Ronald Reagan said, if we cut taxes, if we give people incentives to work hard, we'll have morning in America. And that is exactly what Reagan did. And in the middle 90s, when Republicans stood firm and worked with President Clinton in a bipartisan way, we were able to come up with a successful 90s with more jobs, more wealth, more security, and more prosperity because we kept the formula in mind. Right. And why the turnout today? Well, it's because we're all troubled about the direction. We don't want anybody to fail. We want the country to succeed. But when we think the country's heading in the wrong direction and we're in the car, we're going to tell the driver to turn that car around. Plain and simple. It is wrong in America to punish those who play by the rules. And let me tell you what I mean by that. I have a friend, he's got 4 adult children. He has 1 adult daughter, she's a single mom. Yeah, she married a bum. Well, she has her 2 kids, one getting ready to go to college, the other one who's just on the verge of getting to be a senior, and she's going to be thinking about college. And she's a flight attendant. You know, it used to be a great job. It's not anymore. They've lost their benefits. They've had their pay cut. She gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning to drive to the Cincinnati airport. She has more than 100,000 miles on her automobile. You know why? Because she can't afford more and she lives within her means. She also, in this job, makes very little salary, and they don't have a big, fancy, expensive home. They struggle, but they've got a clean home, a neat home. They worship God. They play by the rules. And when somebody in Washington, including the president, says that we should take from that lady to give the people who drive a fancy car and live in a home they can't afford and support them, it's wrong. And let me just also say, many of you know this, as I met many of you over the years, my father was a mailman. He carried mail on his back. And my mother and father gave me a simple value. If you work hard, if you sacrifice, if you save, if you put in the long hours, at the end of the day, everything in America is possible. And for those in Washington and in Columbus, Ohio, to begin to say that because you work hard, you sacrifice, you play by the rules, that at the end of the day, if you're successful, you did something wrong and we're going to punish you, that's un-American. That's not